I'm glad that we're here with everybody. This is a lot of fun. So we've been talking about right sizing. Let's talk about how does it actually work?
Sure.
It feels like, it's oh great, everybody's going to move from their big house to maybe a smaller house, or maybe it's moved from a big house to another big house that's more like level, or just less complicated. But what are the actual mechanics of how this works? How would you say we get started with somebody?
I think the first thing we do when we get started with someone is, before we even decide timing or what does it look like, is that we just sit down and have a conversation.
Ooh,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's really good.
We can invite them to the island life, or whatever we're calling this. Yeah.
I think it's really important to know your plan and understand your plan, and make sure emotionally that you are prepared for what's to come. Okay. And I mean, to the level you can be, because I don't think we're all ever prepared for maybe some of the emotions that happen upon us, and that's fine. But I think that planning stage, so getting with us, having a conversation, letting us kind of pick your brains, understand what's the motivation behind the move, what does success look like for you, what outcomes do you want, and what are the deal breakers for you, and then also what would be, if you had any dream possibility, what would that look like, so we can kind of help you navigate where we're trying to go as we start to change.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, because when it's always they our friends come talk to us and say, hey, my parents want to move into this thing, and I just get on the computer.
Yes.
I'm going to set up a little portal for them. I'm going to get them going. Let's go look at some houses. This is it. Get in the car. Let's go.
Right.
And where are your parents? Are they going to come out? Or are you picking? Are they picking?
Right.
So there's obviously that's a step.
Right. And I think it's a really important step. Whether you own a house that you need to sell or you don't, or let's say you're moving from somewhere else, I think getting in the car and just taking a look at the different options available.
What's available.
Right. Okay. And sometimes the options could be, what if I want to still stay rural, but have a different type of house? What if I do want to move into town? What if I want to change to this different county, coming from El Dorado County to Placer County, or vice versa? Just take a tour. We have absolutely spent days with people where we've looked at 11, 12, 13 houses, and it's fun. We like it. And, it's really about helping our friends just see what feels right. And that's what the conversation is when we're in the house.
Often it feels like once, they say, here's my criteria. And then once we get there, it's oh yeah. So my criteria is this is now my criteria is this, or maybe the budget changes, or maybe we don't need that many rooms because we would like a nicer place that's smaller than a larger place. It evolves. What about the financial consideration of are you going to sell the family home first and then move into a place? Mm-hmm. And do you have an intermediate place to live, or the opposite? Should we find a place and buy it? Do you have the funds to buy now? And even if it's get into a short-term loan or something, and then sell the older home, current home, and then that way you can move out of it, get it ready, do these things. Right.
I mean, I think you hit on a really important point, that financial planning aspect of it is really, really important, because we need to know, and you need to know, what does your position look like? Can you even buy before you sell? Do you want to? Does it make economic sense? And actually, can you even get the money from your house that you need or are expecting to get in order to make this change? And that also helps us make sure that we're positioning you correctly for success when the move does happen.
Okay. And we do have, we've got some great financial partners. I don't know if this is the time when we talk about them, but, and they obviously we offer our financial partners as a service to our friends and customers, just because they take great care of them, and not because we get financial, kickbacks and stuff.
No, we absolutely do not.
Yeah. But it's just that we want them to be taken well care of.
Yes.
Right. And that's the whole motivation, and getting them in with an assortment that they can choose from, or bring your own. But the point is talk to somebody who knows, and talk through kind of, here's the options and what the options might cost.
Yeah, I'm glad and also speaking of options, I think it's really good to, even talk through the pros and cons of buying first or selling first or trying to do it concurrently, because there are pros and cons to each choice.
Okay.
So, buying first is great because you are in a position where you can absolutely wait for the right house, the right property, and you have not given anything up.
Yeah.
So you've minimized your risk of that fear of like, what if I don't find the right place?
Okay, so because you're just sitting still in whatever you're currently living in.
Yep. And then, you're ready to shop and go. When you find the right place, you can make an offer and get the house.
Okay. Yeah.
The con to that is that you need to be very financially well positioned to either, write a check for one home, pay cash, or potentially cover 2 mortgages.
Yeah.
And, that works for some people. It doesn't work for everyone. So if you want to buy first, you just need to know that it's going to cost more money likely than selling your house first.
Yes. And I would think also you would also need to still be comfortable in the place that you're at. Like if you had medical issues or some reason why the current house isn't working, that may not be the best plan, the waiting, to find the right place to move to.
Right. Which is kind of when we would jump to the sell first option potentially. And that is great. Like, especially if you need the equity from your home, wherever you're going next as part of that, making that change, selling first works well. I think people's greatest fear of selling first is, what if I end up homeless? And I can say that in the 25 years I've been doing this, I've never had a friend end up homeless. So I feel pretty confident that we are able to help navigate through these scenarios with our clients and friends and make sure that they have a place to go, no matter how quickly or how slowly their home sells.
Okay.
I think the third option is to buy and sell concurrently. And so that's essentially when we would write a contingent offer.
Okay, right.
So with a contingent offer, I would say for the buyer, it puts you in a great position in the sense that you've locked in the home you want to go to. Mm-hmm. You just need to get this home sold first. I would say that the biggest challenge right now is that a lot of sellers don't like the risk associated with accepting a contingent offer.
Yeah.
So if you have a dream home that you have found and there's 5 offers on it and yours is contingent, it's not likely you're going to be the successful bidder on that home. So if that's the case, you would need to be prepared to then buy it and sell your house subsequently. So that's really the biggest challenge with the concurrent is, and then the second piece is, either you decide that the house that you thought you wanted, maybe there's reasons why you don't end up buying it, but that's actually easy. We just take your home off the market. You don't have to sell if that doesn't work out. Maybe the bigger challenge is if you have the same thing happen, you have your house in escrow while you're waiting to close on this other one.
It's definitely the riskier of the 3 options.
Right. Yes, exactly. So, but, we can help navigate through all of these situations, but we just like to make sure people understand the pros and cons of each choice.
Okay.
Right. And then you also brought up a little bit of parents having to move out of their home. Do you want to speak a little more about that? Like if they're moving to assisted living, would you recommend that the parent moves before the home is sold, or how do you suggest?
No, that one's tricky because it probably depends a lot on, it would be, again, conversations with what's happening and considerations for the family, because sometimes the family is local, and so maybe you want to if they're in a financial position where they can have 2 homes, right? Maybe they keep the original home or the family home in place and use it for holidays. But I feel like most people probably aren't in that financial spot. So then it makes it a little easier to keep the home for a short period of time. That allows, maybe parents or you to move out of the house so that then family can kind of come and help move and help go through the sentimental stuff. These things take a little bit of time.
Yes, it's a tough change.
There's a lot of kind of packing and choosing what's going to the new place versus what's getting donated, or are family members wanting to take mementos or have some of these items from the the original house as they're maybe have less space in the new one.
Right.
So I think those are kind of, it makes for I would call it's a little bit of a luxury to have 2 homes for a period of time to be able to kind of take the time emotionally to clear it out versus it doesn't have to be in a rush.
Right. Yeah. And I think that is such a significant topic. Maybe we can cover that one on a future video and maybe give some suggestions on how people navigate that. But I think right now this wraps our conversation about right sizing. We just want you to know that we have done this quite a bit. We are experienced and we would like to help you through this. And we just like to talk to you. And you know what? Even if you decide right sizing is not the right time for you right now, we're looking forward to just having coffee or beer with you and just getting to make new friends.